everybody. Welcome to Israel's Church of the Living God. I'm Brother Rodney, and Brother Caleb will be reading today. We'll be doing a lesson today entitled, The Third Temple, Who Will Sit in It? The Third Temple, Who Will Sit in It? And so I just want to give a disclaimer before we get started in this. We're not here to discredit anyone or belittle or talk about anyone. We're just simply going to read you the scriptures concerning the third temple. And as I posted on Facebook last night, to remind people that, instead of watching Donald Trump, you should be watching Jerusalem and pay attention to what's going on in Jerusalem. Because, you got some people saying that Donald Trump and along with Putin and some other people are going to build this third temple. And I'm like, no, they're not going to build it. They might have a hand somewhat in it, but they're not going to build this temple. Then I'm going to show you exactly who's going to sit in the temple of the Lord, which is actually the third temple. So I know it maybe sound a little confusing right now, but we're going to straighten that out in a minute. So let's get straight into this, because we got a lot of stuff to cover. And I want everybody to pay attention. First Chronicles, the 6th chapter. First Chronicles, the 6th chapter. So we're going right here just to show you that Solomon is the one that built the first temple. Right? So we're just going to pick it up. We're going to eat, and we're going to keep moving. First Chronicles 6 and 10. First Chronicles 6 and 10. Go ahead and read it.
First Chronicles chapter 6, verse 10.
Uh-huh.
And Johanan begot Azariah.
Uh-huh.
He is that executed the priest's office in the temple that Solomon built in Jerusalem.
See, so Solomon built the first temple in Jerusalem. He built the first temple. Now, so we're going to 1 Chronicles 22, and we're going to show you that David is the one who prepared everything for Solomon for Solomon to build the temple. So we're going to 1 Chronicles 22. We're getting right into this. 1 Chronicles 22, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. 1 Chronicles 22 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
1 Chronicles chapter 22, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Then David said, This is the house of the Lord God, that is the altar of the burnt offering for Israel.
Uh-huh.
And David commanded to gather together the strangers that were in the land of Israel.
See now, so you have some strangers at this time in the land of Israel. So much for the strangers not included, because the strangers are right here in Israel with David and the people. Go ahead and read.
And he set masons to hew wrought stones to build the house of God.
Uh-huh.
And David prepared iron in abundance for the nails for the doors of the gates, and for the joining, and brass in abundance without weight.
Go ahead.
Also cedar trees in abundance for the Zidonians, and they of Tyre brought much cedar wood to David.
So now you got all these people bringing these materials for the building of the temple. Brass and stone and nails and all of these things. Go ahead and read some more.
Verse 5.
Uh-huh.
And David said, Solomon my son is young and tender.
Uh-huh.
And the house that is to be builded for the Lord must be exceeding magnificent.
See, this house must be exceeding magnificent. It is not to be anything like this on the planet. So, if God is giving you the instruction on how to build it and what to build what to build it with, then this is going to be a beautiful temple, probably the 8th wonder of the world.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir.
I need some water up here, please.
It says, of fame.
Go ahead and start that verse.
Yep.
Yeah.
And David said, Solomon, my son, is young and tender, and the house that is to be builded for the Lord must be exceeding magnificent, of fame and of glory throughout all countries.
Uh-huh.
I will therefore now make preparation for it. So David prepared abundantly before his death. Then he called for Solomon his son, and charged him to build a house for the Lord God of Israel.
See, so Solomon is the one that's going to build this house for the Lord God of Israel. Now, what is Solomon and David? Those are Israelites, right?
Indeed.
Go ahead and read.
And David said to Solomon, my son, as for me, it was in my mind to build a house unto the name of the Lord my God.
Uh-huh.
But the word of the Lord came to me, saying, Thou hast shed blood abundantly, and hast made great war. Thou shalt not build a house unto my name, because thou hast shed much blood upon the earth in my sight. Behold, a son shall be born to thee, who shall be a man of rest, and I will give him rest from all his enemies round about. For his name shall be Solomon, and I will give peace and quietness unto Israel in his days.
Keep on reading.
He shall build an house for my name, and he shall be my son, and I will be his father. And I will establish the throne of his kingdom over Israel forever. Now, my son, the Lord be with thee, and prosper thou, and build the house of the Lord thy God as he hath said of thee. Only the Lord give thee wisdom and understanding, and give thee charge concerning Israel, and thou mayest keep the law of the Lord thy God.
See, he always give you something that you have to do in order for him to perform what he says he's going to do. And in this case, he said, look, keep my law, Solomon, just like he told David. Keep my law, David. Go ahead and read.
13.
Then
shalt thou prosper, if thou take of heed to fulfill the statutes and judgments.
See, this is a little food for thought for all of us. If you want a little wealth, some more money, or you want to prosper in life, keep God's commandments.
Hallelujah.
Go ahead and read.
Then shalt thou prosper if thou take of heed to fulfill the statutes and judgments which the Lord charged Moses with concerning Israel. Be strong and of good courage.
Go ahead.
Dread not, nor be dismayed. Now behold, in my trouble I will have prepared for the house of the Lord 100,000 talents of gold, and 1,000 talents of silver, and of brass and iron without weight.
See, so David is preparing Solomon and giving him all the materials, the silver and gold, the stone, the brass, the nails, everything that Solomon needs in order to build his temple. Because this temple must be exceeding magnificent.
Yes, sir.
This got to be the wonder of the world right here. But go ahead and read.
For it is in abundance. Timber also and stone have I prepared. And thou mayest add thereto.
Go ahead.
Moreover, there are workmen with thee in abundance, hewers and workers of stone and timber, and of all manner of cunning men for every manner of work.
Go ahead.
Of the gold, the silver, and the brass, and the iron, there is no number. Arise, therefore, and be doing, and the Lord be with thee. David also commanded all the princes of Israel to help Solomon his son, saying.
Now, so now we're not going to get off with all what he said, but look, so David had everything prepared for Solomon to build this temple. Everything, even down to the nails. But let's go now, because the Lord came into a covenant. He had to come into a covenant with Solomon. So if you keep my commandments, Solomon, I'm going to bless you. If you don't, then I'm going to tear this house down.
Yes, sir.
Let's go to 1 Kings, the 9th chapter. 1 Kings 9. Back up to 1 Kings, the 9th chapter. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. 1 Kings 9 and 1. Just sit back and be cool, everybody, because it's going to get interesting in a minute.
Amen.
1 Kings 9, and we're going to pick up at verse 1. 1 Kings, well, we're just laying a little groundwork right now. 1 Kings 9 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
1 Kings chapter 9, verse 1. And it came to pass that when Solomon had finished the building of the house of the Lord, and the king's house, and all Solomon's desire which he was pleased to do.
So now Solomon had finished the temple now, right? So he's getting ready to dedicate this temple. But the Lord's going to come into a covenant with him before he dedicates this temple. Go ahead and read it.
Verse 2. That the Lord appeared to Solomon the second time, as he had appeared unto him at Gibeon. And the Lord said to him, I have heard thy prayer and thy supplication that thou hast made before me. I have hallowed this house, which thou hast built, to put my name there forever. And my eyes and my heart shall be there perpetually.
He said, my eyes and my heart shall be there perpetually. And we're going to find out exactly where this place is, where Solomon's temple was. Go ahead and read.
Verse 4.
Uh-huh.
And if thou wilt walk before me, as David thy father walked, in integrity of heart and in uprightness, to do according to all that I have commanded thee, and wilt keep my statutes and my judgments.
Now he said, will keep my statutes and my judgments. What are statutes? Those are laws. He said, do all that I command thee, and will keep my statutes and my judgments. Verse 5.
Then I will establish the throne of thy kingdom upon Israel forever.
See, so Solomon would have been the king over Israel forever if he hadn't messed up with the Lord.
Yes,
by getting all of those wives from all these different countries.
That's right.
And then making gods to them.
Yes, sir. Teach.
Go ahead and read.
As I promised to David thy father, saying, there shall not fail thee a man upon the throne of Israel. But if ye shall at all turn from following me, ye or your children, and will not keep my commandments and my statutes, which I have set before you, but go and serve other gods.
See that? That was one of Israel's problems, serving other gods. That's what his problem, their problem was, serving other gods. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir.
What verse you at?
We'll start back at 6.
But
if ye shall at all turn from following me, ye or your children will not keep my commandments and my statutes, which I have set before you, but go and serve other gods and worship them.
Go ahead.
Then will I cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them. And this house, which I have hallowed for my name, will I cast out of my sight.
He said, look, if y'all go off worshiping other gods, I'm going to cast Israel out of my sight. And this house right here, I'm going to cast it out of my sight. Go ahead and read.
And Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all people.
Go ahead.
And at this house, which is high, everyone that passeth by it shall be astonished and shall hiss.
They're going to look at this house when it's burning up. They're going to look at it in astonishment and hiss at it. Go ahead and read.
And they shall say, why have the Lord done this unto this land, into this house?
He said, why? They're going to say, why the Lord done this to this land and into this house? Why did he tear it up and burn it down like this? Verse 9, go ahead.
And they shall answer, because they forsook the Lord their God.
Because they forsook the Lord their God. And each time the Lord had the house torn up and burned down, it was because they forsook the Lord their God.
Make it plain, bro.
Go ahead and read.
Who brought forth their fathers out of the land of Egypt, and have taken hold upon other gods, and have worshipped them.
Go ahead.
And served them. Therefore hath the Lord brought upon them all this evil.
And see, that's why we were brought into this land and into this captivity, because of what our forefathers did, worshiping other gods, breaking the laws and statutes of God. The Lord said, I'll head up to here with you all. Now come and get them, and we're going to disperse them from among the nations. But let's go to 2 Chronicles, the 3rd chapter. And now, because this is the first house right here, the first temple that we are still looking at. And the Lord said, look, if y'all keep my laws and my commandments, my statutes, this king will remain forever.
That's right, brother.
This house will remain forever. But if you don't, I'm going to tear it up. I'm going to burn it down.
Whoa.
Let's go to 2 Chronicles, the 36th chapter. 2 Chronicles 36, because this is the last king that the children of Israel had right here, which is Zedekiah. And look what happened during the times of Zedekiah. Look at what happened. Now, we still laying the groundwork. 2 Chronicles, 36 and verse 11. 2 Chronicles 36 and 11. Go ahead and read it.
2 Chronicles chapter 36, verse 11. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 11 years in Jerusalem.
See his short reign? He only reigned 11 years. Zedekiah was a wicked king. Most of your good kings that rule, they ruled for 30, 40 years. Like Solomon, he ruled for 40 years. Asa, he ruled for like 40 years. And so on and so forth. But the evil kings, they only ruled a short time. Lord said, I'm going to let you rule for a little bit and you got to get up out of here. Go ahead and read.
Verse 12. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, his God, and humbled not himself before Jeremiah the prophet.
See, he wouldn't even humble himself before the prophet. The prophet was the one that was giving you what thus said the Lord. The prophet was. He's giving it to the king, the princes, and everybody else. This is expressed from the Lord. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. He did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord his God, and humbled not himself before Jeremiah the prophet, speaking from the mouth of the Lord.
See, Jeremiah the prophet and all the prophets of the Lord were speaking from the mouth of the Lord. Go ahead and read.
And he also rebelled against King Nebuchadnezzar.
Look here. So Nebuchadnezzar had set like 2 other kings up before him. And then here comes Zedekiah. Okay, Nebuchadnezzar, I'm going to do all that you say. But when he got into his reign, he was like, I'm not listening to nothing you say, Jeremiah say, nobody. So the Lord had to take him down. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir.
Start at verse 13 again.
Yes, sir. And he also rebelled against King Nebuchadnezzar, which had made him swear by God. But he stiffened his neck and hardened his heart from turning into the Lord God of Israel.
See, he done turned from everybody. The king, Nebuchadnezzar, the prophet Jeremiah, the Lord. He's like, look, he's a one-man show. Go ahead, verse 14.
Moreover, all the chief of the priests and the people transgressed very much after all the abominations of the heathen.
Now the people done got into their transgressions now. Go ahead and read.
And polluted the house of the Lord, which he had hallowed in Jerusalem.
Go ahead. So now if they polluted the house of the Lord, what do you think the Lord is going to do? Just like he told Solomon. Look, Solomon, if you keep my law and commandment, this house will remain forever. If you don't, I'm going to tear it down.
Yes, sir.
And that's what he getting ready to do, tear it down. And this, we still looking at the first temple that Solomon built. Go ahead and read.
15.
And
the Lord God of their fathers sent to them by his messengers, rising up betimes and sending, because he had compassion on his people and on his dwelling place.
Go ahead.
But they mocked the messenger of God and despised his words and misused the prophets.
Go ahead.
Until the wrath of the Lord arose against his people, till there was no remedy.
See, you don't want the Lord, you don't want to keep on sinning with the Lord. Then when he get a hold to you, it won't be no remedy for you. So the best thing for you to do is start walking in his laws and commandments, because at some point, there will not be a remedy for you. And at this point right here, the Lord handed up to him with the people. There was no remedy for him. So look at what he's getting ready to do. Go ahead and read.
17.
Therefore he brought upon them the king of the Chaldees, who slew their young men with the sword in the house of their sanctuary.
Go ahead.
And had no compassion upon young man or maid, old man or him that stooped for age.
Go ahead. See,
He gave,
a lot of people, well, the Lord's not going to do that to a child. He keep on messing around. He around, he get done too.
make it plain.
Just like he do the grown folks, the old folks, middle age, whoever. Kill a dog. If he around.
Yes, sir.
Better go back there and read about the Lord when he destroyed Korah and all that belonged pertaining to him. But go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He gave them all into his hand.
And
all the vessels of the house of God, great and small.
Go ahead.
And the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king, and of his princes. All these he brought to Babylon.
And what did he do to the temple?
And they burnt the house of God.
And they burnt the house of God, just like the Lord said was going to happen. Go ahead and read.
And break down the wall of Jerusalem. And burn all the palaces thereof with fire.
Go ahead.
And destroyed all the goodly vessels thereof. And them that had escaped from the sword carried he away to Babylon.
Go ahead.
Where they were servants to him and his sons until the reign of the kingdom of Persia. To fulfill the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah, until the land had enjoyed her Sabbaths. For as long as she lay desolate, she kept Sabbath.
Now, so he said, look, he done all this, and them that had escaped from the sword carried away to Babylon, where they were servants to him and his sons until the reign of the kingdom of Persia. So now we're going to get, excuse me, we're going to get back to this in a minute. Boy, I can't shake this cough. So we're going to go to John now. So we see that the Lord had burnt down this first temple, right? That Solomon had built. So now we're going to look at another temple, the second temple. Let's go now. But I'm going to throw you for a loop for a minute. So let's go to John, the second chapter, John 2. And look at what Jesus was saying right here. John 2, and we're going to pick up at verse 12. John 2 and 12. When you get it, go ahead and start reading.
John chapter 2, verse 12.
Uh-huh.
After this, he went down to Capernaum, he and his mother and his brethren and his disciples. And they continued there not many days.
Go ahead. Now, this is Jesus now. Go ahead and read.
And the Jews' Passover was at hand. And Jesus went up to Jerusalem and found in the temple those that sold oxen and sheep and doves and changes of money sitting.
Now, look, they in the temple selling stuff. Everybody in there doing their thing, getting their money and everything. Just like a lot of these preachers doing now, getting their money. Some of them got ATM machines in their church.
Yes, sir.
But go ahead and read.
15.
No, that churches become a big money business now. You let the government start taxing it. Let me be quiet. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 15.
And
when he had made a scourge of small cords.
Now this Jesus, now he done sat down and made a scourge of small cords. Go ahead and read.
He drove them all out of the temple. And the sheep and the oxen. And poured out the changers' money.
Go ahead.
And overthrew the table.
Look, Jesus went in there game busting.
Yes, sir.
He done beat the people about it, the ox, the sheep, everybody get up out of here. Turning over money tables and everything. See, people think Jesus was some type of cream puff. But when he got mad, boy, everybody knew it. And I can imagine he was getting up out of there too. What does he mean by this? Go ahead and read.
Verse 16.
And
said unto them that sold doves, take these things hence. Make not my father's house a house of merchandise.
He said, don't make my father's house a house of merchandise. Because that's not what the Lord's house is made for. It's not made for merchandise. The Lord's house is made for you to come and get some understanding on how to save yourself from this untoward generation. Skip down to verse 19. Skip to verse 19. Go ahead.
Jesus answered and said unto them, destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up.
Now he said destroy this temple. He's talking about his body. Destroy this temple and I'm going to raise it up in 3 days. But look what else he's going to say though. Go ahead and read.
Then said the Jews, 46 years was this temple in building. And when wilt thou rear it up in 3 days?
See, he said, they think of the natural temple. And he's talking about the temple of his body.
Teach.
He said, look, they said, look, this temple was 46 years in building. Now, wait a minute. We saw that the first temple was knocked down. Now we're looking at another temple right here. They said it was 46 years in building. So now we're going to leave that right there for a minute. And I'm going to show you what he's talking about when he said 46 years in building. But we're going to go back to this second temple. Because did you read verse 21? 21, yeah.
But he spake of the temple of his body.
See, he was talking about the temple of his body, but they were looking at the natural temple, the building, and said, wait a minute. This temple took 46 years, but you talking about you going to knock it down in 3 days? That's when they grabbed him. But anyway, let's go now. Let's go to Ezra, the first chapter, because we want to look at this second temple now. Because the first temple was destroyed by Nebuchadnezzar, right? Let's go now. Ezra, the first chapter, Ezra 1. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Ezra 1 and 1. Y'all just follow along with me, because it's going to get interesting in a minute. Ezra 1 and 1. Ezra 1 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Ezra chapter 1, verse 1. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia.
Stop right there, because you remember, he said the children of Israel are going to be in Babylon until the reign of the king of Persia. So now here we got Cyrus, the first king of Persia. Go ahead and read.
Now in the first
king of Persia that's ruling Babylon. Go ahead and read.
Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled.
Go ahead.
That the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying, Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth.
See, Cyrus was a world ruler. Say, the Lord God has given me all the kingdoms of the earth. Because after Babylon was what? The Medes and the Persians. Then the Greeks. Then the Romans. And the history bears this out. But it's written right here in the Bible before it happened. That's how we know the Bible is true.
Hallelujah.
Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. It says back at the top, 2.
Uh-huh.
Thus said Cyrus, king of Persia, the Lord God of heaven hath given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and he hath charged me to build him an house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah.
Go ahead.
Which is there among you of all his people. His God be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build the house of the Lord God of Israel. He is the God which is in Jerusalem.
See, although he was the king of Babylon, he knew who the God of Israel was. And he said, look, which one of y'all going to go up to rebuild a temple in Jerusalem? So now we're looking at the second temple right here. We're looking at temple number 2. Which one of you Israelites going to go up to rebuild the temple which is in Jerusalem? Go ahead and read.
And whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourneth, let the men of his place help him with silver and with gold, and with goods and with beasts, besides the freewill offering for the house of God that is in Jerusalem. Then rose up the chief of the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests, and the Levites.
So now these are the 3 that went back to rebuild the temple. Judah, Benjamin, and Levi.
Yes, sir.
And we are looking at the second temple that's about to be built. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. It says, and the Levites, and with all them whose spirit God hath raised to go up to build the house of the Lord which is in Jerusalem.
Let's go to Ezra the 3rd chapter. Ezra the 3rd chapter. We're going to pick it up at verse 1. Ezra the 3rd chapter and verse 1. Go ahead and read. Because the foundation is about to get laid now. Go ahead and read. Ezra 3 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Ezra chapter 3 verse 1.
And
when the 7th month was come, the children of Israel were in the cities. The people gathered themselves together as one man to Jerusalem. And stood up Joshua, the son of Josadak, and his brethren, the priests, and Zerubbabel.
Go ahead.
The son of Shealtiel, and his brethren, and builded the altar of the God of Israel.
See, so they built the altar first, because you know they had to do the sacrifices. And that's what I'm going too far ahead of myself. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead, brother.
Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, and his brethren, and builded the altar of God of Israel to offer burnt offerings thereon. As it is written in the law of Moses, the man of God.
Skip down to verse 8. Skip to verse 8 and read.
8. Now in the 2nd year there coming unto the house of God of Jerusalem, in the 2nd month, began Zerubbabel the son of Shealtiel, and Jeshua the son of Josadak, and the remnant of their brethren, the priests and the Levites, and all they that were come out of the captivity into Jerusalem, and appointed the Levites from...
See, because Cyrus made a decree, and like 42,000 it says in the Bible, and in history it says 40,000, so we're not going to squabble about no 2,000 people. But in history, on the Cyrus cylinder, he said he called for all the Jews to come back. And the ones that came back to rebuild the temple was Benjamin, Judah, and Levi. It was some 40-some thousand people that had come back to rebuild the temple. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. And it says, and all they that were come out of the captivity into Jerusalem, and appointed the Levites from 20 years old and upward, to set forward the work of the house of the Lord.
Go ahead.
Then stood Jeshua with his sons and his brethren, Kadmiel and his sons, the sons of Judah, together to set forward the workmen in the house of God, the sons of Henadad with their sons and their brethren, the Levites. And when the builders laid the foundation of the temple of the Lord,
go ahead.
They set the
Now wait a minute. Now we're looking at Israelites building this temple, right?
Make it plain. Come on.
That's what we're looking at. Israelites, they laid the foundation of the temple of the Lord. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. And when they laid the foundation of the temple of the Lord, they set the priests in their apparel with trumpets, and the Levites, the sons of Asaph, with cymbals to praise the Lord, after the ordinance of David, king of Israel.
Go ahead, verse 11.
And they sang together by course and praising and giving thanks unto the Lord, because he is good, for his mercy endureth forever towards Israel. And all the people shouted with great shout when they praised the Lord, because the foundation of the house of the Lord was laid.
Now we're going to look at this house for 1 minute, because he said the foundation was laid, right?
Yes, sir.
So now let's go look at this house for a second, because this is the second temple. We're going to Ezra the 6th chapter. Ezra 6, and we're going to pick it up in verse 13. Ezra 6 and 13. Everybody just hang in there with me. Ezra 6 and 13, because that's what we're doing. We are laying the foundation. Ezra 6 and 13. Go ahead and read it.
Ezra chapter 6, verse 13. Then Tatnai, governor of this side of the river, Shatharbozzai, and their companions, according to that which Darius the king had sent, so they did speedily. Okay,
so now here comes Darius the Mede, because after Cyrus died, Darius the Mede took over. And so when Cyrus made the first decree, now here comes Darius, he made the second decree, but I'm just showing y'all now that the house is built now. And at this time when the house was built, Darius the Mede was in control. He was a king that was reigning in Babylon. But go ahead and read.
Verse 14. And the elders of the Jews builded, and they prospered through the prophesying of Haggai, the prophet, and Zechariah, the son of Iddu. And they builded and finished it according to the commandment of the God of Israel.
Go ahead.
And according to the commandment of Cyrus and Darius, Artaxerxes, king of Persia.
Now at this time you had a lot of prophets around. Zechariah, Haggai, and a couple of other prophets that you had at this time. So now you got now Darius and Artaxerxes, king of Persia now. And they all made Cyrus, Darius, Artaxerxes, all of them allowed the children of Israel to rebuild the second temple. Verse 15, what does it say?
And this house was finished on the 3rd day of the month Adar, which was in the 6th year of the reign of Darius the king. And the children of Israel, and the priests, and the Levites, and the rest of the children of captivity kept the dedication of this house of God with joy.
Stop right there. So now, they have built this temple. This is a second temple. But then the Lord told the children of Israel, told them the same thing. First, if you keep my commandments, then I'm gonna bless you, and this house will remain. If you don't, I'm gonna tear it down. And so this is what happened to the second house. It was also torn down. But before we go and look at the house being torn down, we're going to Haggai, the 2nd chapter, and Haggai and the people gonna ask the question. Look, what do you all think about this temple in comparison to Solomon's temple? How do you all see it? So let's go to Haggai, the 2nd chapter. We're going to pick it up at verse 1. Haggai 2 and 1. Haggai 2 and 1. Go ahead and read.
It's Haggai chapter 2, verse 1. In the 7th month, in 21st day of the month, came the word of the Lord by prophet Haggai, saying, Speak now to Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua, the son of Josadak, and the high priest, and to the residue of the people, saying, Who is left among you that saw this house in her first glory?
Now, who was among you that saw this house in her first glory? Talking about the King Solomon's temple. Who are you that are alive that saw King Solomon's temple? Go ahead and read.
And how do you see it now?
He said, how do you see this temple now? This second temple right here. How do you see it? Go ahead and read.
Is it not in your eyes in comparison of it as nothing?
He said, look, this temple right here, this is nothing in comparison to Solomon's temple. Go ahead and read.
Yet now be strong, O Zerubbabel, saith the Lord.
Go ahead.
And be strong, O Joshua, son of Josadak, the high priest. And be strong, all ye people of the land, saith the Lord. And work, for I am with you, saith the Lord of hosts.
Go ahead. So in other words, still, we still going to deal with this house right here, although there's nothing in comparison to Solomon's house.
That's right.
Or Solomon's temple, we still got work to do.
Yes, sir.
Verse 5, what does it say?
According to the word that I covenanted with you when ye came out of Egypt. So my spirit remaineth among you. Fear ye not.
Now, let's go now. Because Jesus already told you, look, he said, kill this temple and it'll be raised up in 3 days, right? But they was like, look, this temple was in building for 46 years. It was in building for 46 years. So now, let's go back there. Let's go back because Jesus is going to tell you that this temple is going to be, this second temple right here is going to be destroyed. So we're going to Luke 19. Luke 19. Everybody following along so far? Amen. Try to keep it as simple as possible. Luke 19 and 41. Luke 19 and 41. So now Jesus is mourning over the temple, the second temple, because that second temple was from Ezra and Nehemiah's time all the way down to Jesus' time.
That's right, brother.
So now we're going now to the first century. But first, before we go there, let's read something. Before we go there, we're going to Reveal's Bible Dictionary, and we're going to read something right here.
This is Reveal's Bible Dictionary, page 966. It says Temple, Jerusalem. It says the Jewish worship center, first built by Solomon, which stood on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. The first temple was erected there by Solomon in 960 BC. Fulfilling the dream of his father, David, Solomon's temple was destroyed by the Babylonians.
See, Solomon's temple was destroyed by the Babylonians, Nebuchadnezzar. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Destroyed by the Babylonians when they razed Jerusalem in 587 BC. A second, much smaller temple was erected on the same site by Zerubbabel when a small Jewish contingent returned to their homeland from Babylon. This structure, known as the Second Temple, was completed in 515 BC.
Stop right there. So now we are looking at this second temple, and this temple was during the time of Jesus. Right? Now, let's go to Luke the 19th chapter, and we're going to pick it up in verse 41. Now remember, they said this building was 46 years in building. And you want to tear it down in 3 days? We have Luke 19 and 41. Luke 19 and 41. Go ahead and read it.
Luke chapter 19, verse 41.
Yeah.
And when he was come near, he beheld the city and wept over it.
Now this Jesus now, because he weeping over the city. Go ahead and read.
Saying, if thou hast known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace.
Go ahead.
But now they are hid from thine eyes.
And so I can say the same thing right now.
Come on.
If you would understand the peace that we have right now compared to what's coming.
Come on, brother.
Go ahead and read.
43.
For the days shall come upon thee, that time that thy enemies, shall cast a trench about thee.
Go ahead.
And compass thee round and keep thee on every side. And shall lay thee even with the ground.
Now we talking about the temple gonna be destroyed, the city getting ready to be destroyed. Say he gonna lay you even with the ground. Go ahead and read.
and shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee. And they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another.
Go ahead.
Because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation.
So look, this temple is getting ready to be destroyed. This city is getting ready to be destroyed. Now, we're going to read you something right here. We're going back to Rebel Bible Dictionary. Because that temple was destroyed, but we want to show you something. Because remember he said it was 46 years in building, right?
Gotcha. All right, this is Revealed Bible Dictionary, still page 966. It says the second temple was greatly expanded.
See, the second temple was greatly expanded. So it was well, he's going to tell you. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. It says the second temple was greatly expanded and beautified by Herod.
Herod the Great came and beautified or restored the temple. Go ahead and read.
A project which took 46 years to complete.
So that's the temple that Jesus was looking at. The project that Herod had done in the restoration of the second temple. Took him 46 years to restore the temple. But go ahead.
The Romans destroyed the second temple in 70 A.D.
The Romans destroyed the temple in 70 A.D. Yes. Now, let's read a little bit about this. Let's read a little bit about it. Y'all just hold on. Let's go get interested in a minute. So let's read about the temple that was destroyed in 70 A.D. So we're going to start right here. Turn the page. Yeah.
All right. This is the Atlas of the Bible, page 201. It says, revolts against Rome. The overthrow and suicide of the Emperor Nero brought operations in Judea to a temporary halt at Vespasian. Prudently withdrew to test the imperial winds. Eventually, he himself was declared emperor, sailing for Rome in the spring of 70. He left his capable son, Titus, in charge of the campaign against Jerusalem.
So now Titus is getting ready to come and destroy Jerusalem. And this happened in 70 AD. And this is the second temple that we're looking at. Go ahead and read.
Titus faced a formidable task. Jerusalem was the most heavily fortified city of that time. The walls enclosing the temple in the upper and... Excuse me.
That's it.
It's a thick page.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. The walls enclosing the temple in the upper and lower cities were the most formidable barrier of all. Postponing an all-out assault, Titus turned to the starvation tactics. A certain amount of food had been smuggled into the city almost nightly.
So he said, you know what, we're going to starve them out. But remember, Jesus said they're going to dig a trench about the city. Go ahead and read.
A certain amount of food had been smuggled into the city almost nightly during the siege. But now the Romans sealed off Jerusalem. Go ahead and read. Sealed off Jerusalem completely with a wall of their own.
Now look, Jesus had prophesied this around 30-something AD. And now here we got some 40-something years later, it's happening. Just like Jesus said. That's how we know the Bible is true. But just hold on to your seat because you ain't seen nothing yet. Go ahead and read.
Completely with a wall of their own. Made of earth and some 5 miles in circumference.
Just like Jesus said, going entrench it or circle it about in circumference. Go ahead and read.
From the outset of the siege, those attempting to get through the encircled lines had been caught and crucified. Sometimes the daily execution reached 500. The crossing was never bare. Inside the city, starvation and disease claimed their mounting toll.
See, those Romans, boy, those were some rough people. Those were some rough people. Go ahead and read.
Bodies filled the streets and were stacked in houses. Thousands of corpses were thrown from the walls into the valleys below.
Go ahead, now read that.
The surviving rebels made a last-ditch stand within Herod's palace.
The battering rams resumed their arithmetic work when the legionnaires at last broke into this refuge.
Go ahead.
They found only corpse.
They found only corpse. Why? Because the Israelites said, instead of the Romans killing us, we're going to kill ourselves. I don't know. I probably would have took a chance. But I don't know. I wasn't there. Go ahead.
Herod's palace and the rest of the upper city was put to the torch.
Herod's palace and the upper city was put to the torch. Go ahead and read.
Jerusalem was a city of the dead.
Jerusalem was a city of the dead. So the temple, the second temple was destroyed when? In 70 A.D.
No doubt. No doubt.
Same one Jesus said, you know, the man said this temple was 46 years in building. Jesus like, okay, it's still going to get torn down. And that's what happened some 40-something years after Jesus had prophesied. You done with that?
Yeah.
All right, now, we're going to read this last part right here.
Switch your rule. All right. This is again the Revell Bible Dictionary, page 966. All right. It says the prophet Ezekiel predicted that a third temple would stand in the same place.
Uh-oh, wait a minute. Now, Ezekiel, we're going to read that later. He predicted, I ain't going to say predicted, prophesied.
Come on, come on.
That a third temple would be built. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. It says the prophet Ezekiel predicted that a third temple would stand in the same place in the time of Messiah.
In the time of who?
The Messiah.
The Messiah. Who is the Messiah?
Christ.
Christ. Go ahead and read.
Although that site is currently occupied by the Mosque of Omar.
Oh, wait a minute. You know that one with you're gonna see a picture of the Dome of the Rock. That's what Solomon's temple was. And that's what the last temple was, the second temple was. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It says that site is currently occupied by the Mosque Omar,
Uh-huh.
considering the second most holy place in Islam.
Go ahead.
With whether or not this will be fulfilled.
Stop right there. So now the writing here, they can't make up their mind whether or not they're going to be fulfilled. So that lets me know they're non-biased when it comes to the Bible.
Make that plain. Yes, sir.
And we're going to show you, too, the ones that call themselves Jews, they not quite sure when this third temple going to be built. So we're going to straighten it out for you, though. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It says, excuse me. Whether or not this will be fulfilled literally is debated.
See, it's debated whether it's going to be fulfilled literally. But somebody's not reading the Bible and believing it.
Come on, brother.
Go ahead and read.
Keep it simple. Ezekiel's temple is described in great detail in Ezekiel 40:48.
Now, we're going to read that a little later. We're going to deal with Ezekiel's temple a little later. Now, here we go. Everybody hold on to your seats. Now, let's go to Revelation 11 chapter. Revelation 11. And we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Revelation 11 and 1. There's going to be a temple built. And we know this. And we know where it's going to be built. And now the ones going to build this third temple, they know where it's going to be built. But is man going to sit in this temple? Or is the Lord going to sit in this temple? Let's find out. Because some people think when this third temple is built, the Lord going to come sit in it. But we're going to show you the Lord's not going to come sit in this temple. Man is going to come and sit in this temple. And this temple is not the temple of the Lord. It has not been commissioned by the Israelites to build this temple. It has been commissioned by other men to build this temple. And then we're going to show you the actual third temple in the Bible. Because this third temple right here is a forgery, for lack of a better word. They false flagged it, as we used to say.
Yes, sir.
Let's go now to Revelation 11. Revelation 11. And we're going to pick up at verse 1. Revelation 11 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Revelation chapter 11, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
And there was given me a reed like unto a rod, and an angel stood, saying, Rise and measure the temple of God and the altar, and them that worship therein.
Go ahead.
But the court which is but the court which is without the temple leave out.
So now he telling them, go measure the temple. But the court where it is without, leave it out. Go ahead and read.
And measure it not, for it is given unto the Gentiles. In the holy city shall they tread underfoot 40 and 2 months.
Not 3.5 years. 7 years, but 3.5 years.
Yes, sir, come on.
So he said, look, the Gentiles are going to be given a court way that's without, and the holy city shall they tread underfoot 40 and 2 months, which is 3.5 years. Who are the Gentiles? Those are the Caucasian people. Those are the Caucasian people. So just hold on for a minute. Hold on for a minute. What verse you finish?
I'm at 3.
Go ahead.
And I will give power unto my 2 witnesses.
Remember that. He said, I'm going to give power to my 2 witnesses. Go ahead, read.
And they shall prophesy 1,260 days.
That's 3.5 years right there. Go ahead and read.
Clothed in sackcloth. These are the 2 olive trees.
These are the 2 olive trees. And I want you to keep in mind of this, because we're going to go back to Zechariah and read about this again. But you see what we're reading at right here in Revelations?
Yes, sir.
So this is something that is to come.
Indeed.
Go ahead and read.
Verse 4. These are the 2 olive trees and the 2 candlesticks standing before the God of the earth. And if any man would hurt them, fire proceedeth out of their mouth and devour their enemies.
Go ahead.
And if any man will hurt them, he must in this manner be killed.
So read that verse 6. What does it say?
These have power to shut heaven, that it rain not in the days of their prophecy.
In the days of their prophecies, which hasn't come yet. We're reading about the future right here. So we're going to stop that right there. And we're going to look at this video real quick. We're going to look at this video. I should have told you the video already.
This is some shocking news. Unbelievably, the leading Arab cleric from Jordan, who controls the Temple Mount, has declared that the 3rd temple can be built. They call...
That's the wrong. Go back to the other one. No. 3rd temple. That's it. That's it.
Waiting.
We're supposed to build a temple, and nothing about that changed. Nothing about that commandment changed.
Chaim Richman is a director at the Temple Institute in Jerusalem.
The Temple Institute is actively engaged in research and preparation for the resumption of the service in the Holy Temple, to the extent of actually preparing operational blueprints for the construction of the temple according to the most modern standards.
This menorah is just one of several vessels created for the next temple. It's covered with 95 pounds of pure gold and has a price tag of $2 million.
Piece by piece, the 3rd temple is taking shape, with priest garments, vessels of copper, gold, and silver, and a new generation of Levite priests, specially trained for temple service.
We have enough in place now to resume the divine service and to build the temple. But obviously, a lot of things have to happen in order for this to happen.
Richman isn't the only one who's ready to rebuild.
You actually have blueprints, architectural drawings for the 3rd temple?
3,000 years after King Solomon built the first Jewish temple, another Solomon is laying the foundations for the 3rd.
From the womb of my mother, I have a task and a mission in my life, which is connected with the rebirth of Israel.
Gershon Solomon leads a group called the Temple Mount Faithful. They commissioned these cornerstones for the 3rd temple. The 6-ton stones were consecrated with water from the biblical pool of Siloam and cut with diamonds.
And why God commanded us not to cut them by iron? Don't forget that these are stones for the house of God. They cannot be like other stones.
For several years, Solomon and his followers tried to place the stones on the Temple Mount, and every year they were stopped by Israeli police.
Unfortunately, weakness of the Israeli leadership did not allow us to bring the cornerstone to the right place. The end-time temple should be built on the same location of the first and the second temple.
But that location is already occupied. The holiest site for Jews is also the third holiest site for Muslims. And neither side is ready to share.
The Temple Mount, 35 acres of it, is the most explosive piece of territory on the face of the planet.
In 2002, Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat told an Arab newspaper that the Israelis found not a single stone proving that the Temple of Solomon was there, because the temple was not in Palestine at all.
The issue of the temple, it's so sensitive.
Dr. Yusuf Nache is in charge of tourism at the Dome of the Rock. Here's what he had to say when I asked him about the Jewish temple.
It's not an undeniable fact. It is theories, and the political situation, the misunderstanding, the mistrust distorted all the facts.
That is stupid, because the Arabs themselves, they call Jerusalem the place of the temple. And the Golden Dome right behind me, the Dome of the Rock, was built in order to replace Solomon's temple. I think this temple denial is more serious than the Holocaust denial.
To counter this so-called temple denial, Gabriel Barkay is pushing the archaeological envelope. Muslim law forbids any digging on the mount itself. So instead, Barkay's digging through its trash.
We have here the entire history of the Temple Mount.
He and his team are sifting through truckloads of debris, unearthed by bulldozers and discarded by Muslim authorities.
So there could be artifacts in here going back to the first and second temple? And
yes, there are, no doubt.
Among their finds, a Babylonian arrowhead from the fall of Jerusalem in 586 BC, and this 2,400-year-old Hebrew coin, the oldest ever minted in Jerusalem.
do you think in your lifetime there'll ever be a time when you can actually investigate what's under the Temple Mount?
No, I don't. I'm very pessimistic about it.
Some of the most dramatic traces of temple life have been unearthed here at the Western Wall. This street was part of the marketplace outside the Second Temple. On the walls, you can still see the marks from the fires that destroyed the temple in 70 AD, and overturned stones still lying where they were thrown from the top of the Temple Mount by the armies of Rome. On one stone is a Hebrew inscription, "To the place of trumpeting." It's a set of ancient directions to the southwest corner of the temple, where trumpeters announced the arrival of the Sabbath 2,000 years ago. Even more intriguing is the part of the Western Wall that's still underground.
Amongst the courses of the Western Wall, I mean, the line of stones which we have here, this is the greatest and the most exciting one we have here.
Dan Bahat spent 40 years excavating the tunnels around the Temple Mount, and he says the most compelling case for the temple is yet to be discovered.
I believe that behind this stone is a large arch which forms a storehouse, a big storehouse, which stored all the treasures of the temple. But we don't have till now anywhere where those treasures were, and the only possibility is that it must be subterranean somewhere around the Temple Mount. I believe that it might have been behind this wall.
So do you think it's possible that the treasures are still there?
I hope so. Maybe in the future, when it will be possible to dig, maybe we'll get to there. I say we, it must be my grandchildren, the earliest.
But Bahat's interest in the temple is strictly in its past, not in its future.
There is no chance whatsoever for the third temple. The third temple will be when the Messiah comes, and both of our Jews and Christians are waiting for him. So let us see when he comes what happens. It won't happen before.
Rabbis for centuries did not understand this and in fact argued, well, are we supposed to build the temple and then the Messiah will come? Or are we supposed to wait and then the Messiah will build the temple?
Again, I could hear the voice of God like he's speaking to all of us. I brought you here to build my house. Build my house.
Okay, we cut it right there. Now look, so they got many different things that they are saying about this third temple. So now they don't know whether to build a temple and the Lord's gonna come sit there or what. But I'm gonna tell you like this, before we go back into this, is that the temple that they built, the Lord is not gonna go sit in that temple. Because I'm gonna show you that the man of sin is going to go and sit in that temple. So now we are on the third temple, but it's not the temple of the Lord. And we're going to get to the third temple of the Lord in a minute. So now this temple that they getting ready to build is a temple of man. Because remember, who built the first temple? Israelites. Who built the second temple? Israelites. Who's going to build the third temple? Israelites. So you might put this temple right here, that they get ready to build, and they are getting ready to build, put that one to the side until the real third temple comes. Now, let's go to 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. 2 Thessalonians 2, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 1. When you get it, go ahead and read it.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1.
Uh-huh.
Now we beseech you, brethren, by the covenant of the Lord Jesus Christ, by our gathering together unto him.
Now we're looking at the coming of the Lord right here. And he said, and by our gathering unto him, go ahead and read.
Verse 2.
That
ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of the Christ is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first.
Stop right there. He said, let no man deceive you by any means. So don't listen to people when they say, well, the Lord can come at any time.
Teach.
The Lord is going to come when the prophet said he's going to come. The Lord is going to come when he says he's going to come.
Indeed.
And the book never tells you that the Lord can come at any time. It never told you that. That is the mind of man and not the mind of God. But go ahead and read.
Yes, sir. Except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed.
Go ahead.
The son of perdition.
Now, we're not going to talk about him so much today, but we're going to reveal who this son of perdition is. But we're not going to get on him too much today, because we don't want no problems. Go ahead and read.
Who opposes and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped.
Go ahead.
So that he as God, sitting in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
Stop right there. So that he as God, sitting in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. This son of perdition, this son of destruction.
Whoa.
Now I could go and show you who gave him his power, his seat, and his great authority. And I'll just tell you it was Satan. And this is the man that's going to go sit in this third temple that man is going to build. It is the son of perdition, the son of destruction. And we're going to find out exactly who we're talking about in a minute. But go ahead and read.
Verse 5. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things.
Go ahead.
And now ye know what withhold of that he might be revealed in his time.
Stop right there. We're going to stop right there because we're going to come back to this. Because he said this one right here is going to be revealed in his time. He's going to be revealed in his time. So now we're going to read you something right here. It's called, for the people that did it, it's called News That Matters. Because, you know, some people have understanding on what's going to happen, what's going to occur concerning this third temple that's getting ready to be built. Go ahead and read, brother.
Yes, sir. It says, news that matters. The papal throne to shift from Rome to Jerusalem.
The papal, because remember he said measure the temple, but the courtway that was out, measure it not. But it's given to the Gentiles to tread on the foot. How many months? 42 months.
Yes, sir.
And then we read right here, say, this son of perdition, he's going to sit in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. And this is the one of the most powerful men on the planet. So who going to go and say, well, no, you're not going to sit in this temple? Nobody. And I'm going to show you. Whereas they were saying at first, no, the Arabs said, no, you're not going to sit in, there ain't no temple going to be built. The one that called himself Jews said, yeah, we're going to build it. He's like, y'all are. But if y'all do, all hell's going to break loose. But then they're going to change their mind. Why? Because prophecy has to be fulfilled. Are y'all listening today? Amen. It said the papal throne to shift from Rome to Jerusalem. Go ahead and read some more.
What does Islam and the papal religion have in common? More than you probably are aware of.
So now Islam and the papacy, what do they have in common? More than you probably think. See, everybody watching Donald Trump and all that type of stuff, and him with his women and all that type of stuff, keep on paying attention to that. And all hell is going to break loose, and you're going to be running around in the streets, don't know what. Let me find the Israelites. They know. Read some more, brother.
Islam has no central leader who can reunite them. Since that Pope already has accepted that Islam is a part of God's plan.
Stop right there. You see that? I'm going to show you. The Pope, he got both the Islam, he got Islam and the Jews, the so-called Edomite Jews. He's got both of them in his back pocket. So now, he's telling you, look, the Pope is saying, look, Islam, they are part of God's plan too for the salvation of man. They are. Well, why come we don't see them in the book then? In the book, I'm talking about this book, not that other book they want to make an extension of. God's book. He said, blessed are they that read the prophecy that are written in this book.
Hallelujah.
But I ain't here to talk about Islam today. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir, at the top. Islam has no central leader who can reunite them since that Pope already has accepted Islam is a part of God's plan to save mankind. Islam will be able to accept the Pope as the Prince of Peace.
Stop right there. Say Islam will be able to accept the Pope as the Prince of, who's the Prince of Peace? Christ is. He is the Prince of Peace. But they will accept the Pope as the Prince of Peace.
Whoa.
Go ahead and read.
Shiite and Sunni Muslims.
They're against it. They kind of fight against each other. Shiite and Sunni Muslims, they kind of against each other's doctrine. Go ahead and read.
Shiite and Sunni Muslims will, for the first time, stand united and gathered in front of new universal papal throne.
Stop right there. You see that? The Shiite and the Sunni Muslims, they will stand together for the first time in front of the new universal papal throne.
In the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem.
In the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. Measure the temple, but the courtway that it was out, measure it not, for it is given to the Gentiles to tread underfoot 42 months. Hold on, because we're going to read something, we're going to show you something a little bit later. It's going to shock you. The actual words coming out of a Shiite Muslim's mouth. Just hold on for 1 second. Now, we're going to show the picture now of the Arabs and the Pope. The Arabs and the Pope. We got, there it is. Okay, now this is the picture of the Arabs and the Pope right here. And notice what he said right here. The Third Temple and the Third World War. Israeli Muslims know that the Third Temple is coming. The Israelis know this. The Israeli Muslims know that the Third Temple is coming and insist war is coming with it. Now they ain't read no scripture. They saying it. They know what's going to happen because they thinking this in their mind. Look, they build that temple. We gonna go to war. But God has it already written. They ain't read no Bible. They just doing what God said that they was going to do. They don't even know it. So now with this third temple, it's going to come World War III.
Yes,
That's
sir.
what the Arabs are saying now. But hold on a minute, because they're going to change their mind for, they're going to be wavering a little bit here, because you got some Muslims saying, no, don't build it. You got some Muslims saying, yeah, go ahead and build it. Just hold on a minute. Let's go to Matthew, the 24th chapter. Matthew 24. Matthew 24, and we're going to pick up in verse 14. Matthew 24 and 14. This thing is going down right before our eyes. Now, I'm not saying that, everything going to happen while we live it, because I don't know that. But I know this. The start of it is happening right before our eyes. And nobody's paying attention.
Yes, sir.
We have Matthew 24 and 14. Matthew 24 and 14. Will you get it? Go ahead and read it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It says Matthew 24, verse 14.
Uh-huh.
All right. It says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
Stop right there, because some people want to say that this time has happened in the first century. I'm like, how could all the gospel have been preached in all the world in the first century when Peter and Paul and them, when they was just around the surrounding areas, like Rome and Italy and, and Greece and everything. But now, this doctrine or this doctrine has been preached in all the kingdom. This gospel has been preached in all the world. Right now. Everybody has heard of the Bible. This is number one seller in the world still. Number one seller. The Bible is. You go on the highest mountain, they had heard of Jesus. They might call him another name. You go to the lowest depths of the earth, they had heard of Jesus. They might call him another name. Said, this gospel shall be preached in all the world for a witness until all nations, and then shall the end come. And we are on the threshold of the end. Go ahead and read.
Verse 15.
Uh-huh.
When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand.
Now look, now he said, when you see this abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in a holy place, whosoever readeth, let him understand. So you got to go back to Daniel to understand this. So much for being a New Testament Christian. Jesus telling you directly, look, I want you to go back to Daniel and read this. And I want you not only read it, but I want you to understand it. Go ahead and read.
16.
Uh-huh.
Then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountain.
Uh-huh.
Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house.
Wait a minute, I thought it was going to be a rapture.
Come on, brother.
You see that? I thought it was going to be a rapture. You better get your head in this book and out of that traditions of men. Go ahead and read.
Verse 18.
Uh-huh.
Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes.
Uh-huh.
And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day.
You mean at this time, because it's talking to future right here, you mean the Sabbath day is still in place?
Yes, sir.
Just because, you got 1 billion, 2 billion people keeping Sunday, that don't mean nothing. God words, that's what means something. That's what stands. This gospel right here. Go ahead and read.
21.
Uh-huh.
For then shall the great tribulation.
Uh-huh.
Then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time. No, nor ever shall be.
Now he said this time right here is going to be the time of great tribulation. But he told you, well, you shall therefore see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in a holy place. Whosoever readeth, let him understand it. Let's go to Daniel 11 chapter, Daniel 11. And we're going to pick it up in verse 31. Daniel 11 and 31. I tell you, man, you get your head in this book, man, and start reading, you'll find out these prophecies in this Bible line up with what's going on even today.
Hallelujah.
People better wake up. We had Daniel 11 and 31. Stop kicking against the Bible. Sit down and start reading it. Daniel 11 and 31. Daniel 11 and 31. Now look at this abomination of desolation. Daniel going to tell you a little bit about it. Well, he's going to tell you a little bit about it and what's going on right now. Go ahead and read it.
Daniel chapter 11, verse 31.
You can get that picture ready, sis.
An arm shall stand on his part, and they shall pollute the sanctuary of strength, and shall take away the daily sacrifice.
Go ahead.
And they shall place the abomination that maketh desolate.
And they shall place the abomination that make it desolate, just like Jesus told us about, right? Whosoever readeth, let him understand. Go ahead and read.
32. And such as do wickedly against the covenant shall he corrupt by flatteries.
Ooh. And such as do wicked against the covenant, he shall win with corrupt by flatteries.
Yes, sir.
Now, what you mean? What do you mean going to corrupt by flatteries? We're going to show you. Go ahead and read.
But the people that do know their God shall be strong and do exploits.
Because you know you got some people that's in Jerusalem, that in Israel, that do worship the God of Israel.
Come on.
Go ahead and read.
And they that understand among the people shall instruct many.
And they that understand the people, and they that understand among the people shall instruct many. See, you got some people over there telling, look, y'all don't need to build this temple, because y'all build this temple, all hell gonna break loose. They're like, oh, no, we ain't trying to hear that. We building this temple. Even got the Ishmaelites, the Arabs saying, look, this temple gonna be built. So we want peace, and Papa's gonna bring peace, so we want him to come over here and bring peace.
Whoa.
And you know that the Edomite Jews, they already want him to come over. We're gonna show you. Just hold on to your seat. Go ahead and read.
Yet they shall fall by the sword, and by flame, by captivity, and by spoil many days.
So some of the people over there is telling them about what's going to happen. They're going to be killed. Some won't go into captivity, and some won't go into spoil many days.
Now when they shall fall, they shall be hoping with a little help.
Go ahead.
But many shall cleave to them with flatteries. And some of them understanding shall fall.
Go ahead.
To try them, and to purge, and to make them white, even to the time of the end. Because it is yet for a time appointed.
But it is yet for a time appointed. But these men over here that we just read about are going to be won over with flatteries. Now we got to find out who is this talking about. So now look at this picture. We're going to bring the picture up, this next slide up. And now we see Pope Francis. A supposed moving gesture was the Pope's fraternal embrace of an Argentinian rabbi, Abraham Skorka, and Muslim leader Omar Abu Dhan from Buenos Aires. His legitimate friends occupying accompanying him. So now look, you got an Islamic guy and you got an Edomite Jewish guy. And what is he doing? Trying to make peace right there in the center. So when you shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, where is he standing at? At the Wailing Wall. Just hold on a minute. Now you got another. It said Pope Francis sits with Rabbi Elliot J. Cosgrove and Iman Khalid Aladdin. What do you mean Iman? That means he's a Islamic cleric. So he got them both sitting there together trying to make peace between both of them. You see that? He win them both over with flatteries. Look, we're going to make some peace here. You know, just let us go ahead and build a temple. Stop all the war and everything and let's make peace. Even got a world religious alliance now. know, a lot of people get mad talking about, I got a sister keep on sending me messages, and one of my other sisters got upset about it. Don't get upset, sister. I get them all the time. So, she's saying that, Babylon the Great, that's not the Catholic Church. And I'm showing that it is. So you need to go back and look at that lesson we done. And now look who's standing right smack dab in the middle of this thing. Of the third building of this temple. You ain't seen nothing yet. Just hold on. Because remember, measure the temple, but the courtway that is without, leave it out. What is given unto the Gentiles to tread underfoot 42 months. What is the Pope? Ain't he a Gentile? Who right smack dab in the middle of this thing? In between Islam and the Edomite Jews. The Pope. I didn't talk about the Pope, but he fulfilled prophecy, so I got to read about it. Now, now we're going to look at, we're going to video. Yeah, we're going to go to the video. Now look at what this Islamic cleric is going to say right here. Look at the first one. Yeah, look at what this Islamic cleric is about to say. Because remember, we read about the courtyard, leave it out. What is given unto the Gentiles to tread underfoot 42 months. Look at what he's going to say. Go ahead and start that.
This is some shocking news. Unbelievably, the leading Arab cleric from Jordan who controls the Temple Mount has declared that the third temple can be built. They called it a house of worship on the mount where the Dome of the Rock is. Listen, this is Israel News, and this is the official news station of the government.
Jews must be allowed to pray on the Temple Mount, and they can have a special house of prayer on the site. That's the surprising message from a leading Jordanian cleric, Sheikh Yassin al-Aljuni, who said that his view is based on the fact that the Israelites prayed on the site before the Islamic conquest.
مكان خاص لليهود لبني إسرائيل من اليهود للصلاة تحت السيادة الهاشمية والفلسطينية وباتفاق مع النظام الإسرائيلي بحيث يكون الحراسة والدخول والخروج تحت إمرة وسيادة الهاشمية. لا يعني هذا أبدا أن يمس المسجد الأقصى ولا قبة الصخرة، وإنما ذاك المكان الذي فيه أشجار في الساحة يخصص جزء منها للصلاة لبني إسرائيل. فأنا أتوجه بشكل رسمي إلى دور الإفتاء في فلسطين وفي الأردن بأن يصدروا الفتوى الشرعية التي تبين الحكم الشرعي لبناء مكان للصلاة خاص باليهود.
This has not been a good year for Christians living in the Middle East.
So you heard it there. Basically, what he said was that a fatwa should be issued. A fatwa is a religious order, and this is not just some sheikh. This is a ruling sheikh in Jordan, and Jordan is the one that controls the Temple Mount, the Hashemite kingdom. Bible prophecy is on the move. Subscribe.
Okay, kill it. All right, next. So now you see what this cleric, this Islamic cleric said? Look, they can build their temple. We're all right with that. They can go there and pray and build their temple, but they got to build their temple in the courtyard. Just like the Bible says, measure the temple, but the courtway that was out, leave it out, for it's given unto the Gentile to tread underfoot 42 months. Now we got a slide we're going to show next. Now, this is the Pope. You got that slide, Aaron? Okay, now this is the Pope right here. It says, the Pope scans the model of the third temple in preparation for the construction. So now the Pope, he's giving his approval. And look, we saw with the Edomites, I mean, with the Ishmaelites or the Arabs or Islam, and now we see him also again with the Edomite Jews. He's got both in his back pocket. And how did he do it? He done it just like Daniel said. He won them over with flatteries. He flattered both sides. So now the Pope is looking at the model of this third temple, as they call it. But we're going to show you the actual third temple. So this is the temple of man. You know, the first temple was built by Israelites. The second temple was built by Israelites. The third temple is going to be built by Israelites, not by men. So now he's giving his approval right here of this third temple. So we know what we are talking about, because salvation is of the Jews. And we are the Jews. Let's go now. Let's go to, because we're going to look at a video right here. And now we're going to show you inside of this third temple. We're going to give you a virtual reality look at this third temple. So now, that is a look of the temple that is about to be built. Now, it's a nice looking building. Too bad the one that's going to sit in it is going to defile it. Too bad. Now, let's go to 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter. Back to 2 Thessalonians, 2nd chapter. And we're going to pick it up at let's pick it up at verse 5. Pick it up at verse 5. Go ahead and read it.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 5. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you I told you these things? And now ye know what withholding that he might be revealed in his time.
See, now we're talking about this man of sin. He's going to be revealed in this time, and we have just revealed him unto you. It is none other than the Pope. He is the one that's going to go sit in that temple that's going to be built in Jerusalem. Otherwise, who is it? We know the temple's going to be built, and now I could have showed you so many different articles and videos of everybody saying, look, we're going to build this temple, Arabs and Muslims, Arabs and Jews. Said, we're going to build this temple. And now the Pope has given his approval, and he is the one that's going to sit in it. But go ahead and read some more.
Verse 7.
Uh-huh.
For the mystery of iniquity doth already work.
Uh-huh.
Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way.
Don't you know that King David's tomb, the Pope has a room, or the papacy has a room in King David's tomb already on the Temple Mount? Go upstairs. Look, the Edomite Jews can't even go up there if they don't let them come up there. No, but the Arabs, which are ones that are really running the Temple Mount, they can't even go up there. Why? Because this is how much power the papacy have, and we could buy some real estate here in a building that y'all established maybe 100 years ago. We could buy part of it and can't nobody even touch it. And the papacy has real estate in Jerusalem already. And even sources saying, look, y'all look, that Temple Mount that y'all talking about, the Turks gave us that back when during the Turks' reign. They gave us that Temple Mount. So neither one of y'all really supposed to be there. Because this is our Temple Mount. I'll tell you, I could really go off into this, but anyway, let's go now. Go ahead, keep on reading, brother. This thing is deep. Go ahead and read some more.
Verse 8.
Uh-huh.
And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
See, so you know you're going to sit over that temple, but the Lord is going to destroy him. He's going to sit over that temple, and he's going to defile that temple. And I'm let you know right now, the Lord's not going to sit in that temple. Some man that defiled it and everything, and you think he's going to go sit in it? No, sir. So I can answer y'all question. You Edomite Jews, y'all want to know. No, the Lord will not sit in that temple. Amen. Go ahead and read some more.
Verse 9.
Uh-huh.
Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders,
keep reading,
and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish.
Go ahead.
Because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved.
See what the Pope, he's bringing, telling everybody peace, peace, peace. But when he said peace, sudden destruction is going to come. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of. See, this is the truth right here that we are giving you today. Amen. So now, are you going to receive it, or not? You're going to put your head in the sand like an ostrich? Because when the Lord returns, he's going to beat that whole body up. Go ahead and read.
Verse 11. And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie.
See, you want to keep believing that lie? God's going to make it where you have to believe it. He's going to send you a strong delusion that you believe that lie. Yeah, the Pope is going to come over here and sit in Jerusalem, and everything is going to be all right. He's going to make peace. Keep believing that lie.
Whoa.
Keep believing that lie. Read that verse 11 again. Somebody didn't hear that.
And for this cause God shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie.
Go ahead.
That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness.
See, you know, you got some people saying there ain't no temple going to be built, but we can look and see that most of the people over there saying the temple going to be built.
Yes, sir.
Even the Arabs said it's going to be built.
Yes, sir.
And you got my brother still walking around talking about, ain't no temple going to be built. Ain't no temple going to be built.
Whoa.
That's why the Lord put Israel in captivity. Who is blind but my servant, and deaf is my messenger that I have sent. Let's go now. Let's go to Malachi, the 3rd chapter. Because now we're going to deal with the actual third temple. Because who built the first temple? Israel. Who built the second temple? Israel, who building this third temple that they call it the third temple? Men, Esau. And the Pope is going to go sit in it. So now we're going to show you the actual third temple, who's going to sit in it. Okay? And we're talking about the Lord's temple. We ain't talking about the temple of man. We have Malachi 3 and 1. Malachi 3 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord whom ye seek shall suddenly come to his temple.
And the Lord whom you seek shall suddenly do what?
Come to his temple.
Come to his temple. Not this third temple right here. They call it the third temple. This temple that the Lord is going to come to is going to be the third temple. And the Lord, like I said earlier, is not going to sit in no defiled temple that some man of sin does set in. Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way for me, and the Lord whom you see shall suddenly come to his temple.
Even the messenger of the covenant.
Go ahead.
Whom ye delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts. But who may abide the day of his coming? And who shall stand when he appeareth?
Go ahead.
For he is like a refiner's fire, and like fuller's soap.
Go ahead.
He shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver.
Now, did Jesus do this in his first coming right there? He didn't do this. So we are looking at the second coming of the Lord right here. Go ahead and read.
And he shall purify the sons of Levi.
He'll do what?
Purify the sons of Levi.
But we just saw that these men right here, they purify. They call themselves purifying the sons of Levi.
Whoa.
Now, wait a minute. Let me just deal with this for a second. First of all, Aaron and his sons are the ones that's supposed to be doing the priesthood. And the rest of the Levites are supposed to be ministering to Aaron and his son and doing the ministering of the sanctuary. But the problem is with that, those so-called Levites, you don't know if those Aaron's sons. They even said the ones that they found in the Limba tribe called the Kobiim, they are the descendants of Aaron. And they black like me. Right in Africa, the Limba tribe. Well, so then you got these people calling themselves Jews. That's the whole, all of them called Jews. That's only one tribe, the tribe of Judah. So now you're going to take a so-called Jew and make him a Levite now?
Keep it simple, bro.
How you going to do that?
Come on.
The Lord is going to purify Levi. Not no man. Go ahead and read.
Yes, sir.
Read that again. Verse 3.
3, yep. And he shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. And he shall purify the sons of Levi, and purge them as gold and silver.
Keep reading.
That they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness. Then shall the offering of Judah and Jerusalem be pleasant unto the Lord. As in the days of old, as in former years.
Now we already know that the sacrifice is going to be reinstituted. It is going to be reinstituted under Zadok, which is a Levite, not under these so-called Jews, which all of them call themselves Jews. So you got to be a Levite in order to do the sacrifice. And these are not Levites.
Make that plain, brother.
Go ahead and read.
Verse 5. And I will come near to you to judgment. And I will be a swift witness against the sorcerer.
Go ahead.
And against the adulterers. And against false swearers.
I thought the law was done away with.
No, sir.
What are we doing? What are we reading right here? We talking future right here at the return of the Lord. Go ahead and read.
And against those that oppress the hirelings in his wages.
Go ahead.
The widow and the fatherless. And that turn aside the stranger from his right.
Stop right there, because what we got the Israelites doing now? Turning away the stranger from his right. Telling the stranger, oh, this ain't for you. This for the Israelites only. And God's going to come to destroy everybody else.
Whoa.
The Lord going to deal with you. He is going to deal with you. And I will come near to judgment, and I will be a swift witness against the sorcerers, and against adulterers, and against false swearers, and against those that oppress the hireling and his wages, the widow, the fatherless, and that turn aside the stranger from his right. And that's what our brothers have been doing, turning away the stranger from that is rightfully his. Go ahead and finish that.
And fear not me, saith the Lord of hosts. For I am the Lord.
Go ahead.
I change not.
Thank God. Go ahead and read.
Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed.
A double, thank God.
Hallelujah.
Now, let's go now. Let's go back now. Let's go to Hosea. Let's go to Hosea, the 3rd chapter. We almost there. Hosea, the 3rd chapter. Because this thing is really beautiful if you look at it through the right lens. Everybody else looking at it through the wrong lens. They're not looking at what the Bible says. They're going off of what men are saying. We're in Hosea 3 and 4. Hosea 3 and verse 4. Go ahead and read it.
Hosea chapter 3, verse 4.
Uh-huh.
For the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king.
Don't they have a king over there in Israel now? Called the prime minister.
Whoa.
Go ahead and read.
And without a prince.
Uh-huh.
And without sacrifice.
Now, what are they doing now? They start back to sacrifice now, but he said they're going to live many days without the sacrifice. Go ahead and read.
And without an image.
Uh-huh.
And without an ephod. And without teraphim.
So now he said, look, Israel, you're going to abide many days without a priest, without an ephod, without a sacrifice, without a teraphim. That's how we know that the people over there starting to sacrifice again. That's not the children of Israel. Verse 5, what does that say?
Afterward, shall the children of Israel return.
Stop right there. Afterward shall the children of Israel return. And what's going to happen?
Afterward shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their God and David their king.
Do anybody see David the king over there now? Nope. And Israel is not seeking the Lord their God in Jerusalem and has not returned. Does anybody understand that? And afterwards shall the children of Israel return and seek the Lord their God and David their king. In order to seek David their king, David has to be raised up. He's got to be raised up. And that's what the children of Israel going to go and ask the way to Zion and be looking for David their king. Go ahead and read.
And shall fear the Lord in his goodness.
When?
In his goodness in the latter days.
In when?
In the latter days.
In the latter days, in the end times. David is not back yet. So the children of Israel have not returned home yet. Let's go now. Let's go to 2 Samuel, the 7th chapter. 2 Samuel 7. And now let's look at what the Lord was telling David. We're going to finish this out. What the Lord was telling David over here. Who's going to build the temple? 2 Samuel 7 and 8. 2 Samuel 7 and 8. When you get it, go ahead and start reading.
2 Samuel chapter 7, verse 8. Now therefore so shalt thou say unto my servant David, thus saith the Lord of hosts, I took thee from the sheepcote, from following the sheep, to be ruler over my people, over Israel.
Go ahead.
And I was with thee whithersoever thou wentest, and have cut off all thine enemies out of thy sight, and have made thee a great name, like unto the name of the great men that are in the earth.
See, when Solomon set up the throne, there was no enemies. David had taken care, the Lord had David to take care of all the enemies. So when Solomon reigned, there were no enemies. Until he started messing up with all those women, you know. And the Lord had to send it after him, after Solomon died, in his son's stead. That's when he started separating Israel, the tribe. But go ahead and read.
Moreover, I will appoint a place for my people Israel.
I said, I'm going to appoint a place for my people Israel.
And will plant them. That they may dwell in a place of their own. And move no more.
And what?
And move no more.
And move no more. Now that put a future presence to it.
Yes, sir.
And move no more. Go ahead and read.
Neither shall the children of wickedness afflict them anymore. As before time.
And we are still being afflicted even in this generation. Go ahead and read.
And as since the time that I commanded judges to be over my people Israel, and have caused thee to rest from all thine enemies.
Go ahead.
Also the Lord telleth thee that he will make thee an house.
So wait a minute, David, I'm going to build you a house.
Yes, sir.
You're not going to build me a house, I'm going to build you a house. Verse 12, what does it say?
And when they And when thy days, be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers.
When you die, David, go ahead and read.
I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels. And I will establish his kingdom.
And I will establish his kingdom. This one that's going to come out of your bowel. I'm going to establish his kingdom. Skip down to verse 16 and read.
16. And thine house and thy kingdom shall be established forever before thee.
Wait a minute now. He said it's going to be established forever before thee. That means David, if it's going to be before David, then David's going to see it. Because it's either behind him or it's going to be in front of him. So right here he said, and thy kingdom is going to be established forever before thee. So David is going to see this kingdom.
It's written. Yes, sir.
So we're talking future right here. Go ahead and read.
Thy throne shall be established forever.
Thy throne is going to be established. Whose throne is Jesus going to sit on? David's forever. Go ahead and read.
According to all these words, and according to all this vision,
go ahead.
So did Nathan speak unto David. Then went King David in and sat before the Lord. And he said, Who am I, O Lord God? And what is my house that thou hast brought me here thereto?
Go ahead.
And this was yet a small thing in thy sight,
he said,
O
look,
Lord.
who am I that you bringing me and showing me this house, telling me about this house? He said, this is a small thing in your sight, Lord. Go ahead.
And this was yet a small thing in thy sight, O Lord God. But thou hast spoken also of thy servant's house for a great while to come.
Look, you have spoken of your servant's house for a great while to come. Because the children of Israel are going to go and seek David their king when they return to Jerusalem. And this is the time that we are reading about. Because David said, look, you have spoken of thy servant's house for a great while to come. Go ahead and read.
And this is the manner of man, O Lord God.
He said, and is this the manner of man? You mean tell me I'm going to see this kingdom? Yep, David's going to see it. Why? Because he's got to be raised up. He's going to be raised up. That's what Jeremiah the 30th chapter tells you about when he talk about Jeremiah's trouble. He said, you're going to see David, that king, your king, whom he shall raise up. Now, let's go to Zechariah now. Let's go to Zechariah 6. Zechariah 6. And we're going to pick it up at verse 12. Zechariah 6 and 12. Now he's going to tell you the man's name that's going to build this kingdom. Or that's going to build this temple, right? Zechariah, the 6th chapter, and we're going to pick up at verse 12. Zechariah 6 and 12. So you got to go back to the prophets. You read about what's up that's going to happen in the future. Don't be walking around talking about I'm a New Testament Christian because you're going to miss the boat. Where do you think the apostles got it from? They wrote the New Testament. They got it from where? The prophets.
That's right.
The Old Testament.
Yes, sir.
So you just read the New Testament, you're going to miss the boat.
Sure enough.
We at Zechariah 6 and 12. Go ahead and read it.
Zechariah chapter 6, verse 12. And speaking to him, saying, Thus speaketh the Lord of hosts, saying, Behold, the man whose name is the branch, and he shall grow up out of his place.
Go ahead.
And he shall build the temple of the Lord.
And do what?
And build the temple of the Lord.
The man whose name is the branch, he shall build the temple of the Lord. Now we got to find out who is this branch. Who is this talking about? Keep reading.
Even he shall build the temple of the Lord. And he shall bear the glory.
See, I told you, he's not going to sit. The Lord is not going to sit in the temple that some man that sat in and it defiled it. He's not going to sit in that temple. Go ahead and read. So now this is an actual third temple of the Lord that we're dealing with right here. Go ahead and read.
And shall sit and rule upon his throne.
He's going to sit and rule upon what?
His throne. And he shall be a priest upon his throne. And the council of peace shall be between them both.
Wait a minute, he's going to be a priest upon his throne? What is Jesus now? He is a priest after the order of Melchizedek right now, right? And so now he's going to be a priest upon his throne. So he didn't do that when he came before. So when is he going to do this? When he returns. Now look, remember the Arab said, look, and he said, and the council of peace shall be between them both. Remember the Arab said, we consider the Pope, he can be the Prince of Peace. Here's the Prince of Peace we read right here. This is the Prince of Peace. Go ahead and read.
14.
And
the crown shall be to Helam, and Tobiah, and to Jediah, and to Hin, the son of Zephaniah, for a memorial in the temple of the Lord.
See, this crown is just going to be for a memorial to these men in the temple of the Lord. Not that they're going to be standing there. No, these crowns are going to be for a memorial in the temple of the Lord. Verse 15, go ahead.
And they that are far off shall come and build in the temple of the Lord. And ye shall know that the Lord of hosts hath sent me unto you.
Go ahead.
And this shall come to pass if ye will diligently obey the voice of the Lord your God.
Who built the first temple? Israel. Who built the second temple? Israel. Who gonna build this third temple of the Lord? Israel. The man whose name is the branch, which is an Israelite. I'm gonna show you. Let's go first. Let's go to Isaiah, the 11th chapter. We're gonna look at this branch real quick. Isaiah 11. This man whose name is the branch. Isaiah 11. And we're gonna pick it up at verse 1. Isaiah 11 and 1. When you get it, go ahead and read it. Isaiah 11 and 1. We're going to look at this branch. The man whose name is the branch. Isaiah 11 and 1. Go ahead and read.
Isaiah chapter 11 verse 1. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse. And a branch shall grow out of his roots.
Stop right there. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse. Who is Jesse? This is David's father. David, Jesse, these two are what? Israelites from the tribe of Judah. And he said, a branch shall grow out of his roots. Who is this branch that's going to grow out of his roots? Keep reading.
And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him.
And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon this branch. Go ahead and read.
The Spirit of wisdom and understanding. The Spirit of counsel and might.
Go ahead.
The Spirit of knowledge and of fear of the Lord. And shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord.
Keep reading.
And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears.
Go ahead.
But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth.
Now who are we dealing with right here that's going to judge the righteous? We are looking at Jesus, but with righteousness shall he judge the poor and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And what else is he going to do? Now you know this is Jesus. Now what did he say?
And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth.
Ooh, this is the branch that we're dealing with right here. He said he's going to smite the earth with the rod of his mouth.
And with the breath of his lips.
Go ahead.
Shall he slay the wicked.
Now who are we looking at right here? Jesus. So who is the branch? Jesus. He is the one that's going to build this temple. But is he going to do it with his own hands? No. He's got people to do this. Let's go to Zechariah the 4th chapter. Zechariah 4. Zechariah 4, and we're going to pick it up at verse 6. Zechariah 4 and 6. When you get it, start reading. Zechariah 4 and 6.
Zechariah chapter 4, verse 6. Then he answered and spake unto me, saying, This is the word of the Lord unto Zerubbabel, saying, Not by might nor by power, but by my spirit, saith the Lord of hosts.
Go ahead.
Who art thou, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel thou shalt become a plain.
He said, before Zerubbabel thou shalt become a plain. Now remember, Zerubbabel is the one who built the second temple. Now we are looking at this third temple, and look at who's building it. Go ahead and read, because Jesus, the man, the branch, is going to build it, but he's not going to build it with his own hands. So he got somebody else, just like Zerubbabel was governor at that time, building that second temple. You got Zerubbabel going to be governor at this third temple right here in the future, the temple of the Lord. Keep reading. Read that start at verse 0.
Who art thou, O great mountain? Before Zerubbabel thou shalt become a plain.
Go ahead.
And he shall bring forth the headstone thereof with shouting, crying, grace, grace unto it. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, The hands of Zerubbabel have laid the foundation of this house. His hands shall also finish it.
Go ahead.
And thou shalt know that the Lord of hosts has sent me unto you.
Ooh, keep reading, brother.
For who hath despised the day of the small things? For they shall rejoice and shall see the plummet in the hand of Zerubbabel with those 7.
He said, look, and for who have despised the day of small things, for they shall rejoice and shall see the promise in the hand of who?
Zerubbabel.
With who?
With the.
Go ahead.
With those 7.
With those 7. Who are these 7? Go
they
ahead.
are the eyes of the Lord, which run to and fro through the whole earth.
Did this happen during the times of Zerubbabel in the second temple? No. This did not happen. We are looking at the third temple right here that Zerubbabel is going to lay the foundation. Keep reading.
Then answered I and said unto him, What are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick, upon the left side?
Wait a minute. Remember we read about these 2 olive trees in Revelation 11th chapter? He said, what? Look, then answered I and said unto him, what are these 2 olive trees upon the right side of the candlestick and upon the left side thereof? We're looking at these same 2 olive trees that we were looking at Revelations, the 11th chapter, when we were dealing with the future temple. Does everybody understand?
Come on.
The temple of the Lord. These same 2 olive trees. Verse 12, what does it say?
And I answered again and said unto him, What be these 2 olive branches through the 2 golden pipes empty the golden oil out of themselves?
Go ahead.
And he answered me and said, Knowest thou not what these be? And I said, No,
go ahead,
Lord. Then said he, These are the 2 anointed ones that stand by the Lord of the whole earth.
Woo! These are the 2 anointed ones. And we know that these are 2 anointed ones going to be men. Now, let's go now. Let's go to Ezekiel the 40th chapter. Ezekiel 40. Because remember I told you, we're going to read about this kingdom of the Lord. And we're going to read down some of the measurements. We're not going to get too bogged down with this, reading all the measurements and everything. But I just want you to see something. Ezekiel 40 and 1. Ezekiel 40 and 1. Now, how can I show you the temple of this man that this man gonna build, and don't show you the temple that the Lord is gonna build? Ezekiel 40 and 1. Ezekiel 40 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
This is Ezekiel chapter 40, verse 1. In the 25th year of our captivity, in the beginning of the year, in the 10th day of the month, in the 14th year after that, the city was smitten. In the selfsame day, the hand of the Lord was upon me, and brought me thither.
Go ahead.
In the visions of God brought he me into the land of Israel.
Now look, Ezekiel's seeing a vision right now. He said, in the vision of God brought he me into the land of Israel,
and set me upon a very high mountain, by which was as the frame of a city on the sun.
Go ahead.
And he brought me thither, and behold, there was a man whose appearance was like the appearance of brass. With a line of flax in his hand.
Now look, he said this man, he showed me he got a measuring reed in his hand. He got a flax in his hand and a measuring reed. And he stood in the gate. Now look, so he's looking at this angel. Because he said he was appearance of brass. Remember he told you, go measure the temple of God. But look, the court weight is out measured not, for it's given unto the Gentiles to tread underfoot 40 and 2 months. Now look, this temple is being measured now. This is the temple of the Lord. Go ahead and read it.
Yes, sir. With a line of flax in his hand and a measuring reed, and he stood in the gate. And the man said unto me, Son of man, behold with thine eyes, and hear with thine ears, and set thine heart upon all that I shall show thee. For to the intent that I might show them, and to thee art thou brought hither. Declare all that thou seest to the house of Israel.
Go ahead.
And behold, a wall on the outside of the house round about, and in the man's hand a measuring reed of 6 cubits, 6 cubits long, by the cubit and hand breadth.
Go ahead.
So he measures the breadth of the building, 1 reed, and the height 1 reed.
Go ahead.
Then came he into the gate, which looked toward the east, and went up the stairs thereof, and measured the threshold.
Now we're going to stop now. Skip down to verse 45. Skip to verse 45. Skip to verse 45 and read.
45.
Uh-huh. Now this is the temple of the Lord that we're looking at. He's showing them the measurement. Go ahead and read.
And he said unto me, this chamber whose prospect is towards the south is for the priest.
It's for the who?
The priest.
Go ahead.
The keeper of the charge of the house. And the chamber whose prospect is toward the north is for the priest.
Go ahead.
The keeper of the charge of the altar. These are the sons of Zadok.
See, look, he's going to reinstitute the priesthood, and then the ones that take charge of the house are going to be the sons of Zadok. Go ahead and read.
Among the sons of Levi, which come near to the Lord to minister to him.
Now, Ezekiel 41 and 1. Ezekiel 41 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Afterward, he brought me to the temple and measured the posts, 6 cubits broad on one side and 6 cubits broad on the other side, which was the breadth of the tabernacle.
Now, we are looking at the temple of the Lord, the third temple right here. This is the actual third temple.
Hallelujah.
Not the one that man is going to build, but what the Lord is going to build. Now, let's go to Ezekiel 43rd chapter, Ezekiel 43, and we're going to pick up at verse 1, Ezekiel 43 and 1. We got one more after this. Ezekiel 43 and 1. Go ahead and read it.
Ezekiel chapter 43, verse 1. Afterward he brought me to the gate, even the gate that looketh toward the east. And behold, the glory of God of Israel came from way up the east, and his voice was like a noise of many waters, and the earth shined with his glory.
Anybody seen anything like this yet?
No, sir.
We ain't seen nothing like this. So now here come the Lord through that east gate, and he said the whole earth was shining with his glory. Go ahead and read.
And it was according to the appearance of the vision, which I saw, even according to the vision that I saw when I came to destroy the city. And the visions were like the visions that I saw by the river Chebar.
Now look, he's looking at another vision right here. The Lord is showing him another vision. Verse 4, go ahead.
And I fell upon my face, and the glory of the Lord came to the house by the way of the gate.
Oh, now here comes the Lord coming into his temple right now. Saying the Lord, and the glory of the Lord came into the house by the way of the gate,
whose prospect is toward the east.
So the Lord is coming in through that east gate into his house. Go ahead and read.
So the Spirit took me up and brought me into the inner court. And behold, the glory of the Lord filled the house.
Now look, Ezekiel wasn't taken up nowhere. He just seeing this vision in his mind, just like John saw the vision in his mind when he was on the Isle of Patmos. Go ahead and read.
And I heard him speaking unto me out of the house, and the man stood by me. And he said unto me, Son of man, the place of my throne.
Stop right there. He said, Son of man, the place of my throne.
And the place of the soles of my feet.
And the place of the soles of my feet.
Where I would dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever.
Where I would dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever. Anybody seen the Lord here yet?
No, sir.
This is future right here. He said, the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet, where I would dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever. Finish that.
And my holy name shall the house of Israel no more defile.
You know this future. Go ahead and read.
Neither they nor their kings by their whoredom, nor by the carcasses of their kings in their high places.
Let's go to Micah now. Micah 4, we're going to pick up at verse 1. Micah 4 and 1. This will be last. Micah 4 and 1. Now look at where the Lord's house is going to be. Not up in heaven, but right here on earth. Everybody take note to this. You know, Lord's not taking you to heaven. Look at where his throne is going to be. And that's where I want to be. Where the Lord's throne is going to be.
Hallelujah.
Micah 4 and 1. Go ahead and read.
Micah chapter 4, verse 1. But in the last days it shall come to pass.
In what?
In the last days it shall come to pass.
In the last days it shall come to pass. Go ahead.
That the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountain.
Oh, so you mean the Lord's house is going to be on earth? That's right. This temple is going to be established in the top of the mountain. We're going to find out where. Go ahead.
And it shall be exalted above the hill.
And people shall flow unto it.
And people shall flow unto it. Who are these people? Go ahead and read.
And many nations shall come.
Ah, wait a minute. You mean the other nation going to come up to the house of the Lord? That's right. The Lord don't discriminate.
Make that plain, brother.
Go ahead and read.
And many nations shall come and say, come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of God of Jacob.
The God of who?
Jacob.
See, they come up to Israel's God. He is the God of the whole earth.
Make it plain.
Go ahead and read.
And he will teach us of his ways.
He gonna do what?
Teach us of his ways.
No more all those other false religions no more. All the nations gonna come up. They gonna say, look, let us go serve the God of Jacob, the God of Israel. He's gonna teach us his ways. Go ahead and read.
And we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion.
I'm right there. I thought the law was done away with.
No, sir.
If it's done away with it, why is the law going forth from Zion?
Still good.
It is still good. And the law shall go forth out from forth of Zion. Where is Zion?
Jerusalem.
He gonna tell you, keep reading.
In the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
In the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Go ahead.
And he shall judge among many people, and rebuke strong nations afar off. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks.
See, no, look, they're going to take those weapons of war and make farming utensils out of them. Go ahead and read.
Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
He said, look, nation's not going to war against nation anymore, and they're not going to learn war no more. Won't be any more wars. Why? Because the Lord will have established his kingdom, his house, his temple in the mountains in Jerusalem.
Hallelujah.
Does everybody understand? Yes. Well, now we're looking at the third temple, the third temple. Not that temple that some man done built. And who built this third temple? Israel. You finished that verse 4?
No, sir.
Go ahead.
But they shall sit every man under his vine, and under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid. For the mouth of the Lord of hosts have spoken it.
Skip down to verse 7. Go ahead and read it.
And I will make her that halteth a remnant, and her that was cast far off a strong nation.
Now who was cast far off? Israel.
Yes, sir.
He said, and I will make her that halted to a remnant, and her that was cast afar off a strong nation. Go ahead.
And the Lord shall reign over them in Mount Zion.
And the Lord shall reign over them where?
In Mount Zion.
The Son of Man, the place of my throne and the place of the soles of my feet, where I will dwell in the midst of the children of Israel forever.
Shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth. Even forever.
Even forever. And there you have it. The third temple of the Lord. Who will sit in it? It is the Lord Jesus that's going to sit in it. Thank you. Now we're going to have a reading of the announcements.
Grace and peace to our brothers and sisters here at the Israel's Church of the Living God. If this is your first visit, we hope you come back and worship with us again next Sabbath. There's no eating or drinking in the sanctuary, everything except for water. Brothers and sisters, please adhere to the dress code of Israel's Church of the Living God. Brothers, please remove any head covering upon entering the building. Do not wear sleeveless shirts, fleece jogging pants, shorts, tight-fitting pants, or any other revealing attire. Sisters, you must have a head covering. This is required. Hat, scarf, etc. Do not wear pants, short skirts, midriffs, or see-through blouses, mini dresses, mini skirts, halter tops of any kind, revealing splits, tight-fitting, cleavage revealing attire, modest apparel only. We have Bibles and scarves available for visitors. If you use a Bible or scarf that belongs to Israel's Church of the Living God, please return it prior to leaving. If you live in the Lake County, Illinois area, please watch a television program, The Word for Life, every Wednesday at 6:30 p.m., Comcast Channel 17. You can visit our Facebook page, Israel's Church of the Living God, to post questions or comments. All questions will be answered according to the Bible. Click the Facebook like button to see our daily posts in your news feed. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at ICO TLG 567. In an effort to expand the church ministry, we have started a building fund. You can make your secure payments online using our PayPal account
at a PayPal account at israelschurch.org. Or you can send your donation to the attention of ICO, TLG at P.O. Box 8933, Waukegan, Illinois, 60079. We thank you for your past contributions and hope for your continued support. Free will donations are welcome and appreciated. Finally, brothers and sisters, please continue to pray for one another. This is this weekly Sabbath day announcement.
If you'd like to contact us here at Israel's Church of the Living God, you can give us a call at 847-636-4792. That's 847-636-4792. We also would like for you to join us on our website. That's israelschurch.org. israelschurch.org. We can go on there and follow us on Facebook or look at some of our previously recorded videos on YouTube. And for those that are following our YouTube channel, we would like for you to subscribe and like our channel. For those that are interested in prayer or spiritual counseling, you can see myself or Brother Caleb, or you can give us a call at 847-636-4792. That's 847-636-4792. And while we're here, we're having a special request for Brother Mark in Australia. Brother Mark in Australia is going to have surgery coming up here in the near future, and he would like for our congregation to pray for him. Amen. And he's in Australia. And Brother Mark is trying to come up from Australia to come and join us for the Feast of Tabernacles. Amen. So for this year, so we would like to give a special prayer for Brother Mark that's in Australia. We've been kind of corresponding through emails. So hopefully Brother Mark will get here at that time, and we wish him well and success with his surgery. And I think he might have been talking about baptism too. So we look forward to that. So, but if you would like to be baptized, you can see myself or Brother Caleb, or you can give us a call at 847-636-4792. Right? So, we got the Feast of Pentecost coming up. It's going to start Saturday, May 26th at sundown. But we'll be celebrating it Sunday at 1 p.m. here at Israel's Church of the Living God. We'll be here at 1 p.m. on May the 27th. Okay? It starts May the 26th, Saturday, May 26th at sundown, but we'll be keeping it on the 27th. Does everybody understand? Amen. Okay. We also would like to give our condolences to Sister Danielle and Sister Jackie and the Shepherd family in the passing away of their uncle. So we'd like to say a prayer for them, say our prayers to them, for their family, and give our condolences to their family. Okay?
As well as the Normans, Brother Wayne Norman lost his dad as well. So.
Yeah, Brother Wayne. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. That's it. We're going to stand and face Jerusalem.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. For thy kingdom come. And thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us of our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. In Jesus' holy name we pray. Amen.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
In Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Got it?